संस्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. Dear friends, I want to tell you about this very special project. The Vedanta Center of North Carolina is an ashram which at present has a very small premises, but it has been expanding. The activities of the ashram have expanded, and the footfall of the devotees, large numbers of devotees and interested visitors have been coming here over the last 4-5 years, more than that. And the present facilities are entirely inadequate. Larger facilities are needed for the visitors and those who are going to come in the future. So there is the project of building a universal temple on the land already with the ashram. And this project is imminent. It has begun, and the construction is about to begin very soon. I would like to appeal to one and all to contribute whatever you can, however much you feel comfortable with, to this wonderful project. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the best use of money is in the service of God and in the service of the holy. I feel that if there is one being who is not ungrateful, it is God. So when we offer our service and our resources, financial resources, or in whichever way we help, it is an offering to the Lord. It is also a very wise and insightful thing to do for the welfare of the community. The large numbers of Indians, immigrants who have settled in this Raleigh-Durham area is a wonderful investment in the future of the children, of your grandchildren. It's an investment in the future of the Hindu community here. The message of harmony and the message of service which goes out from this center and which will go out in the years and decades and centuries from this universal temple, it is of great benefit. It's a great blessing, not only to the community here in Raleigh-Durham, but to the state of North Carolina itself and to the national life of the United States. It's a most wonderful opportunity, and we feel blessed to be part of this great project. Please take part in it and please contribute to the best of your ability. This is my prayer. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, let's take our humble pranam of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Ma Sharda Devi, Swami Vivekananda, and revered Swami Sarvapriyananda. I also bow down to all of you for coming here on a Saturday evening to uplift all of our collective spiritualism. Thank you very much. So it is a pleasure. I'm Samrat Das. I'm the president of Ramakrishna Vedanta Center of North Carolina, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of you. This is a joint effort between Hindu Society of North Carolina and Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of North Carolina. And I would like to share a bit about our center as an introduction to today's program. Though we are rooted in Hindu spiritual traditions, we are a non-sectarian organization, open to people of all faiths. Our guiding principle is one of universal service, Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya, for one's own spiritual growth and for the welfare of the world. Our focus is not on practicing organized religion, but on uplifting the collective spiritualism and serving humanity. The teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, Paramhansa, Holy Sharadama, and Swami Vivekananda are central to our work. Swami Vivekananda as you all know, is considered often the first spiritual teacher of the West. He has had a transformative influence on the spiritual life of America, and it all began when he attended the first Parliament of Religions in 1893, where his powerful words touched the hearts of many. And I encourage you all to explore his teachings further. To quote just one of Swami Vivekananda's profound thoughts, he once said in a talk at Thousand Line Park, New York, "It is our privilege to be charitable. The poor man suffers so that we may be helped. Let the giver kneel down and give thanks. Let the receiver stand up and permit. See the Lord in every being and give to him. Serving all these is the same as serving God himself." I invite you to reflect on this and learn more about Swami Vivekananda's message. One wonderful place to start is this PBS documentary, America's First Guru, in which our esteemed speaker, Swami Sarvapriyananda, is interviewed. This film provides insight into the deep and lasting impact Swamiji's teachings have had on the West. With that spirit in mind, I would like to share our vision of a new project we are embarking on, the construction of a universal temple in Morrisville. This temple will be a place where people from all religions and faiths can come together for spiritual growth and selfless service to others. We are currently in the process of building a 4,000 square foot facility with a 1,300 square foot facility for monks. The foundation has been designed to accommodate future expansion, allowing us to double our space to 8,000 square foot in the second phase. We are also working toward bringing a monk of the Ramakrishna order to help guide our community. The Ramakrishna order, a non-sectarian worldwide organization, has monks who make incredible sacrifices to uplift others and inspire others. One such esteemed monk, Swami Sarvapriyananda, is with us today, and we are honored by his presence. As a center, we deeply believe in service to the community. While we may be small in size at the moment, our impact is growing. For example, during Hurricane Helene, we donated nearly 750 pounds of essential supplies to those in need. Our center is built on the principle of selfless service, and we hope that our new universal temple will allow us to expand these efforts. Earlier this month, we had the privilege of breaking ground for our new universal temple. We are currently in the process of land clearing. This is a picture of mine at the Belur Mutt, which is the headquarters of Ramakrishna Mission worldwide in Kolkata. The first top picture is of revered Swami Gautamananda Ji, who is the president of Worldwide Ramakrishna Mission, blessing our project. And below that is a picture with all of the board of trustees of Belur Mutt, where we put in an application for a resident monk here. This is a small clip from ABC 11 about our groundbreaking.
Gathered at the site. New here at 6, a new temple coming to Morrisville. Local Hindu leaders gathered at the site on Globe Road to lay the first bricks for the future temple. And they also say this is a universal temple and people from all faiths can attend all events and services that will be hosted there.
So a lot of people have asked us that do you all have enough space at your current location to build a temple? Well, this is how it looked before we did the land clearing at our current place. If you go to the next picture, and this is an aerial view. This is all of the land we had, and we just cleared, and we see so much of land is there for us to build. Next one, please. Welcome to the aerial view of the land for the future universal temple dedicated to Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Holy Mother Sharda Devi, and Swami Vivekananda. This serene 1.78-acre site is located at 3109 Globe Road in Morrisville, North Carolina. As we look across the land, we are filled with hope and vision for the spiritual sanctuary that will soon grace this space. If you look toward the front or to the south of the property, you will notice the existing building. This structure will be converted into a monk's quarters, providing a peaceful residence for the monks who will serve this temple. Beyond that, the rest of the land is a blank canvas where the future Universal Temple will stand. It will be a place of worship, reflection, and community for all who seek the teachings and wisdom of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swamiji. We invite you to join us on this journey as we build not only a temple but a center of love, peace, and spiritual growth. So, in the spirit of service, I want to acknowledge the incredible generosity we have already witnessed in our community. And that speaks volumes about the commitment and love you all have for this cause, and we are deeply grateful for your support. And I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who has contributed. However, we do need more funds. That is why I'm here today to ask for your continued support. Every contribution, no matter the size, will bring us a step closer to realizing this dream. It will help us ensure that this temple not only stands as a spiritual beacon for all, but also a center for community service, outreach, and education, and events like this. So I encourage you all to consider how to help through financial support, volunteering, or just spreading the word. Every act of kindness is going to help us move closer to our goal. Together, we can create a lasting space for spiritual growth, service, and unity. Please visit our website, vedantanc.org, where there are different ways mentioned as to how you can contribute. You can send us checks, you can use PayPal, or we also accept stocks. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Well, thank you for being here today, and may the spirit of love and service continue to guide us all.
Namaskar. A mantra from Rig Veda. Madhuvatayate madhukharanti sindhavaha madhvirno santoshadhi madhunaktamutoshasi madhumad parthivang rajah madhudyurastuna pita madhumanyo vanaspatir madhumastu suryaha madhvir gavo bhavantuna om madhu om madhu om madhu.
Now, I would like to invite a very special person who has done so much for our community to introduce Swami Sarvapriyananda ji, and most of you know him. It's Mr. Sajjan Aggarwal. So Sajjan ji has, as you all know, is the chairman of the board of HSNC. He's also on the board of Hindu University of America, Vivekananda Yoga University, Ekal USA, and Duke Hospital Raleigh, and many other organizations. And we all know Sajjan ji's contribution to this entire community. Thank you, Sajjan ji, for coming today. And if you can introduce Swami Sarvapriyananda ji.
Namaste, everyone. The Vedanta Society of New York has been the home of most illustrious monks of Ramakrishna order, starting with Swami Vivekananda to the present day Swami Sarvapriyananda ji. Swami Sarvapriyananda has been the minister and spiritual leader of the Vedanta Society of New York since January 2017. He joined the Ramakrishna Mutt in 1994 and received his sannyas in 2004. He served as an acharya of the most monastic probationers training center at Belur Mutt, India. He also served in various capacities in different educational institutions of the Ramakrishna Mission in India and as the Assistant Minister of Vedanta Society of Southern California. During the 2019 and 20, he was an Aggarwal Fellow at the Harvard Divinity School. Swami Sarvapriyananda is a well-known speaker on Vedanta, and his talks are extremely popular globally via the internet. He has been a speaker on various prestigious forums such as TEDx, SAN, Google Talk, etc. He also has been invited to speak at several universities across the world, including Harvard University. The Swami has engaged in dialogues with many eminent speakers such as Deepak Chopra, Rupert Spira, Rick Archer, David Chalmers, and Sam Harris. He has played a prominent role in organizing and participating in various interfaith panels and seminars, including speaking at the World Parliament of Religion in Toronto 2018 and at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Some of Swami Sarvapriyananda's popular talks have been compiled into ebooks, Who Am I?, What is Vedanta, and Dissolve into Family, and are currently available at Amazon Kindle. We are honored to welcome Swami Sarvapriyananda ji to the Hindu Society of North Carolina, and we are blessed to have him. This is his second presence here. And please join me in welcoming with a big round of applause, Swami Sarvapriyananda.
Let me start. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. The subject, very beautiful language. I don't know if Dr. Das himself came up with it. The divine unity. And I was just thinking, that is the central teaching of Vedanta, the oneness of all existence. In fact, Vivekananda put it this way, Vedanta is basically just these two things, the divinity within ourselves and the oneness of all existence. And see how counterintuitive it is. Whatever we think of ourselves, we generally don't think of ourselves as divine. I mean, what is the conception of a human being? What's the conception of the self? We think of ourselves as biological beings, We think of ourselves as human beings. We think of ourselves as bodies, as minds, psychological beings, as social beings. We think of ourselves as economic beings, as political beings. But our real nature, that it is a spiritual nature, this is what Vedanta teaches. That saying, I love this. It says, it goes like this. We think we are human beings in search of a spiritual experience. But the truth is, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I don't know who said it, but I think this is exactly what Vedanta wants to say. That's the first thing which Vivekananda said, the divinity within ourselves. So that's what Vedanta teaches. The second thing which Vedanta teaches is the oneness of all existence. Again, counterintuitive. It doesn't seem to be one. It seems to be diverse. Just look at us here. Look at us all here. This big gathering. There are hundreds of people here. How is it one? When living beings, non-living beings, this entire universe, socially, politically, we all seem to be divided. Difference. Where is the oneness? And Vedanta very counterintuitively says that is actually all one. There's a deep underlying oneness here, a spiritual oneness. So this oneness, that's why the subject really appealed to me, a divine unity. This is a central teaching of Vedanta. In fact, when people listen to Vedanta talks, they are often misled as to this. Because when you listen to talks on Vedanta, on Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, it's a path of inquiry. And you will often hear, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the witness consciousness. Or the difference between the seer and the seen, I am the witness and everything else is an object which I am witnessing. Or I am the witness of the body with its physical side, the physical dimension, this physiological, the psychological, intellectual, the Panchakosha Vichara, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So I am this witness. But the very idea that I am this witness, it's a very, very deep and very profound idea and very startling, very freeing idea. But it's not oneness. After all, this means a division. I am dividing myself. Earlier I thought, I am different from all of this. This is all the other and I am me, myself. Now what I'm doing is, even here, I am using the knife of analysis to see that this body is also an object. Like this bottle is an object, similarly this body is also an object. The prana, the mind, they're all objects. I am the witness consciousness. Now this seems like division, not unification. But this is only one step. The goal is not to see yourself as separate. The goal is to find our real nature so that from that basis we can establish this unity, the divine unity. That's the underlying, the source code, what's going on, the underlying plan in Advaita Vedanta. But often this, neti neti, not body, not mind. And we all sing, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Shankaracharya wrote. And if you read what he wrote, Manobuddhyahankara Chittani Naham, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not this, I am not that. What am I? I am the witness consciousness. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. Shiva. I am Shiva. Good. But it puts in our mind this idea that Vedanta is about separating. But this is only one step. I myself do that, and I will do that today. But remember, the goal will be ultimately oneness, not separation. I remember a monk in India. He warned me. See, when we study Advaita Vedanta, there are these two sides which are very prominent. One is this analytical method. I am consciousness, everything else is an object. I am not this, not that, neti neti. That's one side of Advaita Vedanta. And it shows that you are this witness consciousness, pure consciousness, sakshi. That's one side. The other side is, we often hear Vedanta considers the world to be an appearance, the world to be false. Jagat mithya. It's an appearance. Brahma satyam jagat mithya jiva brahmaiva napara. That is the famous formulation by Adi Shankaracharya. Brahman, pure consciousness, that is the only reality. And the world which appears to consciousness is exactly that, an appearance. It's not an independent, separate, existing reality the way it looks like, solid, separate. No. So the world is an appearance. And who are we then? Am I real or am I an appearance? Well, relax, you are real. Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. You, the Jiva, the individual being, the sentient being, you are none other than Brahman. And this is the central teaching of Vedanta, the way it is put. So this emphasis on falsity of the world, mithyatva. The world is an appearance. So look, these are the two things which come out prominently when we study Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. These two things strike us because they're so striking. It's so strange, so counterintuitive, so new to us. I am not the body and mind. I am pure consciousness. Wow, that's interesting. And this world is not real. Something like the Matrix movie. That's also very interesting. These are the two things which sticks in our mind when we go into a Vedanta class. But here is the news. Here is as the Americans would say, here's the deal. Vedanta is not about seeing yourself as a witness consciousness. Vedanta is not even about seeing the world as false. Vedanta is about one divine unity, the oneness of all existence. Then why do we talk about these two things? These two things are helpful in establishing that ultimate oneness. But because we teach that way, it sticks in people's minds. I'm not the body, not the mind, and everything else is an appearance. These are on the way. These are methodological. These are pedagogical. They are not the end goal, what is being sought here. So one monk told me, the way you are separating seer and seen, drik, drishya, vivek and all, in the end, you'll have to work really hard to unite. Because you're doing such a good job of separating. People will grasp that and get that idea deep in their minds. But then you'll have to work really hard to unite it in the end. Because after all, that unity, that identity, that oneness, that's the goal of Vedanta, not separateness. This idea of separating consciousness and object. This is a Sankhyan technique. It's borrowed, those who have studied Indian philosophy, Sankhya, Prakriti and Purusha, spirit and nature, consciousness and matter. This separation, this clear division of subject and object, this is an insight from Sankhya, which Vedanta has adopted. And the falsity of the world, this is an insight from Buddhism, which Vedanta has adopted, but for its own uses. And the use is not ultimately falsity. The use is not separation. The use is one divine unity, one reality, a divine reality. So that's the point. And that's why the subject is so nice. If you look at Vedanta, what the central teachings? Ekam eva dvitiyam. What is the final goal of Vedanta? One alone without a second. Ishopanishad. First sentence of the Ishopanishad, which Mahatma Gandhi said, if all the Hindu texts were to disappear tomorrow, and only the first line of the Ishopanishad were to remain, all of Hinduism would be intact. What is that most important line? Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Whatever is there in this diverse world of difference, cover it with one divine reality. Cover it means you have to discover, you have to see one divine reality here. That's the message of Vedanta. To see oneness, not difference, not separation, not falsity. But separation and falsity we will see. We will now employ it. But I'm giving you buyer beware at the beginning. So, goal is oneness. The teaching is oneness. Look at the questions which are there in the Upanishads. Their questions are about oneness. Mundaka Upanishad. Shaunako havai mahashalo angirasam vidhivadupasanna papracha kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati iti. Shaunaka, the student, goes to the master, the teacher Angiras, and asks, notice the question, Sir, what is that one thing by knowing which I can know everything? Look, this search for a oneness at the heart of all difference. It's always there. Throughout Vedanta, you will see again and again. So the monk who warned me said, but you have to be careful in your teaching. Oh, young monk, you have to be careful in your teaching. The way you are teaching, I'll tell you in Bengali what he said. আপনাকে একত্ব করতে বেগ পেতে হবে. You'll have to work really hard to establish oneness afterwards. So, warning, before we go into difference, the ultimate goal will be this divine unity. All Vedanta operates like this. Anywhere you pick it up, any Upanishad. I'm going to pick up something from the Bhagavad Gita for this evening. And I'm told we will have time for Q&A afterwards. All right. And to keep track of the time also. Because I've been told that, Swami, you know how to start a lecture. Swami, you know the art of starting a lecture, but there's a big but at the end. All right. The selection I've made is from the Bhagavad Gita, my favorite chapter really in the Bhagavad Gita. I would say it's the 13th chapter. It's the chapter, 18 chapters, Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, the 13th chapter. It's a chapter called The Field and the Knower of the Field. Kshetra Kshetragya Vibhaga Yoga. The analysis of field and field knower. It also happens to be the chapter which we are studying in New York right now. 18 chapters. Once again, oneness. Look at the Bhagavad Gita itself. One way of analyzing the Bhagavad Gita is like this. 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. According to some Vedantists like Madhusudan Saraswati and others, they divide these 18 chapters into 3 groups of 6 chapters each. First group, chapter 1 to 6, group 1. Group 2, chapter 7 to 12. Group 3, 13 to 18. What are these 3 groups? They all tell us, Tattvamasi, you are that. The central teaching of Vedanta, the divine unity, you are that. So, the first 6 chapters, chapter 1 to 6, the central theme is you, Tvam. What are you? What am I? The individual being, an analysis of ourselves. Of course, there are many, many, many things in the first 6 chapters, but this is the central theme, underlying theme. And then the next 6 chapters, from 7 to 12, are about that. That means God, the temple, the Lord, God, the God of religion, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, the creator, preserver, destroyer of the universe, and so on, the God of religion, that. And then the last 6 chapters, 13 to 18, are about that you are, the identity, the divine unity. And in the 13th chapter, which starts this sequence, you find it very powerfully, very clearly, this divine unity. This beautiful chapter of the field and the field knower. Krishna, the teacher, speaks to Arjuna, the disciple, his friend and disciple, and tells Arjuna, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram mityabhidhiyate etadyo veti tam prahu kshetrajya iti tadvidaha. O Arjuna, know this body to be a field. And the one who experiences this field is called the knower of the field by those who are experts in this subject. Pretty simple. This body, yes, label it, give it a name, field. And you, in that body, there, you are there. You, within that body, give yourself a name, knower of the field, experiencer of the field. In Sanskrit, field, kshetra. Experiencer, knower of the field, kshetrajya. That's all. Very simple teaching, but very profound. Notice the first step, a maneuver which Krishna does. He makes a difference between you and your body. He didn't say, this body, O Arjuna, is you. He says, no, no, no. This body is a field. And you, in the field, you are called the knower of the field. So there are these 2 already. The field and the knower of the field. And if you go a little further, what he's doing here is, he is answering the question, who am I? What am I really? If I am a biological creature, he would not have said, the body is the field and you are the knower of the field. He would have said, you are the body. But he's saying, the body is a field and you are the knower of the field. Why is it called a field? There are a lot of, the commentators and sub-commentators have a field day with making many more meanings. In one commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Shankarananda Tika, you find 10 meanings of why this word field is used. So one meaning is in a field you have crops, you sow the seeds and you get the crops. Similarly, the body is the field in which our karma phala, the results of our past actions are experienced. When? All the time. Oh really? What is the result of my past action? Look at your life. That's it. What's happening right now in our lives and what has been happening, it's all mediated through this body and of course the mind. And so it's the field. Now deeper. Sri Krishna has given us the key to Vedanta. The key here is knower of the field. You and the body are two different things. That's the first thing he's saying. Why? He uses the word etad yo vetti, the one who knows. He uses it as a lever, as a way of prizing open this trap of the body, of separating us, showing us our freedom from the body. The body is there, and we are here in the body, embodied, but we are not the body. How so? The principle which he uses is, the knower and the known, the subject and the object must be different. The subject can never be the object. That which you know is an object of your knowledge. You are not that which you know. Now that's fairly simple when it comes to this bottle. I know the bottle, by which I mean I can see the bottle, I can touch the bottle, I can hold the bottle, manipulate it. It's an object. And I'll never say I am the bottle. So for anything in the world, even a car which you're using, even the glasses which you wear, so you know it's different from you. You are not that. It's an object. Anything that we know is an object and I am the subject. I am the knower and that thing is the known. The knower and the known have to be different entities. The subject and the object have to be different entities, even grammatically. In philosophy also. Otherwise there's what they call it, the problem of self-reference will happen. So a thing cannot operate on itself. Knife cannot cut itself. So if you are knowing something, what you know must be different from the knower. But when we come to the body, this thing becomes mysterious. I know the bottle, I am not the bottle, I am the knower of the bottle is the known object. Very clear, different. Even the cloth which I am wearing, I am the knower, the user of the cloth, and I am different from the cloth. I am not the cloth. But when I come to the body, I am certainly the knower of the body. After all, the body is objectified by all of my senses. I can see the body. I can touch the body. I can smell the body. I can taste the body. If my tummy is rumbling with hunger, I can hear the body. All of my senses operates on the body, makes it an object, makes it something known. Yo vetti, the one who knows. And I am clearly the knower. I am the seer of the body. I touch the body. I can hear the body. So I am the knower. And therefore, by that definition, I cannot be the body. Here is the first big thing we learn, which we sort of instinctively, we feel, we speak, we behave as if we are the body. But here the first thing Krishna is teaching us is you are not the body. Because, why? Why am I not the body? Because it's an object. Somebody asks a question, if you punch the bottle, it's okay. I'm not hurt. But if I punch the body, I feel hurt. If I burn the body, I feel pain. So how are you saying I am not the body? The answer is pretty simple. Shankaracharya actually answers this in one of his books, Upadesha Sahasri. The student asks, if the body is burned, I feel I am burned. So I am the body. How are you saying I am not the body? And Shankaracharya says, are you aware of the pain of the burning? Are you aware of the burning sensation? Of course. It's terrible pain. If you are aware of it, that's an object. You are the knower of the object. And therefore, you must be separate from the burning. And whatever is known, even if it's a pain, the pain is revealed by you, the consciousness. One person, I love this story. One person goes to a sadhu in the Himalayas and says, I am very unhappy. And the sadhu says to him, monk says to him, are you aware of your unhappiness? Do you feel unhappy? Of course, I feel unhappy. That's why I have come to you. In Hindi, aapko dukh ka anubhav hai? Do you have an experience of your sorrow? Yes. In Hindi, to hum dukhi hain. I am sorrowful. I am in pain. I am miserable. The monk said, Now you know the difference. What Krishna has said, he is using that. Monk said, if you know it, then it's an object. It must be different from you. It must be the field. You are the knower of the field. If you feel the sorrow, if you experience the sorrow, if you say, I am suffering from the sorrow, in that case, you are not sorrowful. You are the knower of the sorrow. You are the knower of the pain. You are the experiencer, the witness of the pain, the sorrow, the misery. You are not miserable. Just as being the experience of the bottle doesn't make you a bottle. The pain in the body is something known. Let's stay with this. This is itself a very interesting, very deep insight and a very freeing insight. You can immediately use it. This body is something that is known. And the characteristics of the body are also known. That it is, I am this man, age is so much, the skin color is this. All of these are known. If I am the knower of the body and I am not the body, then the properties of the body, do they belong to the body or to me? They belong to the body. The color of the body belongs to the body. The weight of the body belongs to the body. The weight of the body, suppose it is 150 pounds or 180 pounds. Now, I am the knower of this body. Am I 180 pounds? Is consciousness 180 pounds? Or is the body 180? You'll say, obviously the body is 180 pounds. All the characteristics of the body are in the body. This is an important principle. Whatever belongs to the object remains in the object, does not stick to the subject. So the weight of the body, the color of the body, the gender of the body, these are all in the body. I am the witness of that. Therefore, it's not my weight. It's the body's weight. It's not my color. It's not my age. It's not my gender. I am the awareness, the knower of the field. These are characteristics of the field. I mentioned this elsewhere also. Just yesterday we were talking. These little phrases which monks I've heard in the Himalayas, how they make Vedanta very operative. Little diversion. Can I take a diversion? Yes, I will. Let me give you 3 examples of such observances, my favorite ones. The first one is relevant here. One sadhu said, "Jo cheez jahan ka hai Mahatma ji, usko wahin rehne do." The way to apply Vedanta is keep things where they belong. This is not an exercise in neatness. Keep things where they belong means the characteristics which belong to the field, let it be in the field. Don't accept them as your own characteristics. I am so old and worn out and wrinkled. No, body is old and worn out and wrinkled. I am the knower of that. Keep the characteristics of the body in the body. I am the witness, ever free of that. Depression in the mind. Like that person went to the monk and said, I am very depressed. So depression in the mind. I am not depressed. I am the witness of the depression in the mind. I am the witness of the mind which was free from depression just a moment ago. I am the witness of the depression in the mind which has come like a dark cloud. And I'll be the witness of the depression-free mind after some time. I myself am not touched by the depression. I am free from it because I am the witness. Keep things where they belong. Where does old age belong? Body. Or at most prana. Where does disease belong? In the pranamaya or annamaya, in the body. Not in you, the knower. So this is one good principle. Whenever you're in trouble, think about it. Am I taking up something from the world or the body into myself? Something from the field into myself? And then saying that I am in trouble or I am miserable. Keep things where they belong. Jo cheez jahan ka hai, usko wahin rehne do, Mahatma ji. One principle. Another principle. आपको लगता है, forgive me for the Hindi, but I like the Hindi so much and it helps me to translate also. आपको लगता है कि संसार के चलते मेरा मन अशांत है, लेकिन असली बात है कि अशांत मन के चलते संसार है, महात्मा जी. We think I am restless, anxious, unhappy because of the world of samsara. The world troubles me day and night. Shakespeare, world is too much with us. The world is troubling me. That's why I am so depressed, anxious, restless, tension. The monk said, no, 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 not because of that. You think your mind is restless because the world is troubling you, samsara. Rather, the truth is, it is because the mind is restless that you have samsara. It does not seem correct at the first glance. Said, what do you mean? I am being troubled. Don't you know my neighbor is such a nuisance? My children don't listen to me, and my finances are in an awful state. All of these, world is troubling me. I am good, but the world is troubling me. But it's also true that the same problems, the reaction of two people are different. I give the example of doctors. So many of you are doctors. You have dealt with hundreds, thousands of patients. You know, minor problem, complete breakdown. Serious problem, life-threatening. Patient faces it with dignity and calmness. So it's not really so much the problem outside or the sickness in the body which is the cause of anxiety. It's rather the mind. The simple truth. You think the mind is restless because of samsara. No. It is because the mind is restless that you have samsara. This is a very great truth, that all suffering has to be mediated, has to come to us, has to hit us after first traveling through our mind. First we have to give it space in our mind, and then only. Let me quote not Vedanta, but Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the well-known first ladies, Second World War time. It seems she said, no one can hurt you without your permission. We mentally give permission first. We take it seriously, then we feel hurt. So that's a very beautiful insight. आपको लगता है संसार के चलते मन अशांत है, लेकिन अशांत मन के चलते संसार है. One more insight. This I learned recently from a monk, again in Hindi. How to apply Vedanta, how to make Vedanta real for you. Many people have this question. It all sounds very nice, but it's an exercise in philosophy, an exercise in theory. It doesn't work in practice. How to make it real for you. He says, how do you apply Vedanta? He says, it's like when you ask a child, define a nose. What's a nose? When you ask a child, what's a nose? The child will never say the nose is the organ of respiration and olfactory sense organ. No, that's a dictionary definition. What will the child do? This is the nose. This is the nose. In Hindi, naak kya hai? Bachcha bolega, ye naak hai. Directly point to the nose. Vedanta applied that way. Yes, it's words, it's text, it's philosophy, it's logic, all good. But it's at the end of the day, it is about you. It's about me. Applied directly in our own experience. That's the way to keep Vedanta real and practical. When we say, I am not the body, because the body is an object, it's the field, I am the knower of the field, applied this way. All right. Instead of saying, body is the field, I am the knower of the field. No. This is the field. And I, the one experiencing it, I am the knower of the field. The characteristics of this field are in the field, not in me, the knower of the field. Like this, applied like that. Remember, nose. So 3 principles already I've shared with you. These are secrets of Himalayan Mahatmas. How to make Vedanta operational, practical in your life. Yeah. The first one is, जो चीज जहां का है उसको वहीं रहने दो महात्मा जी. Keep things where they belong. Second one is, because the mind is restless, you have samsara. Not the other way around. Vivekananda would say, never let anything disturb the serenity of your mind. You want a spiritual practice? Tell me one spiritual practice. Practice this for a few days. Very difficult practice. Never let anything disturb the serenity of your mind. Always check. Is my mind cool? Is it calm? I remember we had a Swami Abhayananda, very properly named, Bharat Maharaj. His name means fearlessness, Abhaya. In the Himalayas, we have an ashram, a place called Mayavati. Those who have read the tiger hunting stories of Jim Corbett, you would have read. That's the area where the ashram is. And there used to be these big tigers at that time. Sadly, much less now. Leopards and bears are still there. So at that time, this was in the 1940s maybe, This Swami, he was walking downhill, and suddenly in front of him came this huge, magnificent Royal Bengal tiger. It came out from the bush, stood in the road, and looked at the Swami. And this is important. What was the Swami's reaction? He was wearing a coat because it was cold. Immediately put his hand inside the coat over his heart to see whether his heartbeat has increased. His worry was not the tiger. His worry was, am I worried? And he saw, later he said, he saw that his heartbeat has not increased. He was happy, good. Tiger is not worried about. Luckily the tiger also was not interested in him. Old monk, no, not worth eating. So tiger left. So that is beautiful spiritual practice. Try to keep the mind serene. One spiritual practice. Start from now on. You'll see how difficult it is, but how beneficial, how much paying it is. Our whole inner life will be transformed. And the third teaching was nose. How will you apply Vedanta? Field and knower of the field. Nose. Not theoretically. Understand it theoretically, but apply it directly because it's meant to be applied to us. So Krishna says, whatever you know is the field and you are the knower of the field. Knower and known are different. Apply to the body. The body is the field because it's known. And I am the knower of the field. Then go a little deeper, more subtle, more inward. Breathe in and out the vital forces in this body, prana. Are you aware of it? You better be, because the whole mindfulness industry depends on that. What will they teach you in the meditation? Breathe in, you be aware of your breathing in, breathe out, be aware of your breathing out. But Vedanta says if you are aware of it, then you are not it. It's in the field, you are the knower of the field. The prana, of which the breath is just the tip. But all the physiological forces keeping this body alive, keeping this field alive, that's also part of the field because it is known. It's an object of your awareness. I am the knower of the body. I am the knower of the breath. Go further inwards, more subtle. You find the mind, thoughts, this inner mental chatter, feelings, good and bad feelings, pleasant and unpleasant feelings, memories, the mind. But that is also the part of the field because the moment you introspect, we are aware of our own minds. The thoughts going through our mind, the feelings in our mind. In fact, we complain mostly about our mind. So, the mind is also part of the field. You are not the mind. See how far we have come. Just that simple lever. Field and knower of the field. Whatever you know is the field. You are the knower of the field. And the two are different. I am not the mind because it is known. It is part of the field. I am not my thoughts. I'm not saying the thoughts are not there. Thoughts are there. I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. These emotions, I am not. These memories, I am not. Goes even further. The sense of ego. I, standing here, I am speaking to you now. Am I aware of the I? Can I feel I? Yes. In that case, even the sense of ego. In Sanskrit, ahankara, that's also part of the field. It's not the knower of the field. Now see how far we have come. I am not the body, it's the field. I am the knower of the field. I am the knower of the body, not the body. I am not the prana, the vital forces. I am the knower of the prana. Prana is in the field. I am not the mind, which is also thoughts and feelings and emotions because I know them. They are also part of the field. I am the knower of the field. I am not even the ego, the intellect or the ego. Let's say just focus on the ego, ahankara. Because that also I sense. I feel it, the ego. So I am not the ego. Literally, if you write in English, I am not I. How contradictory it sounds, how paradoxical. Shankaracharya's hymn, if you listen, Manobudhyankara chittani naham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not the ego. Now we know why. What's the logic? I always feel I am the mind, intellect, ego, memories, I am this person. He says, no, because you are aware of it. If you're aware of it, it's like a bottle, it's an object. In Sanskrit, I am not the Annamaya body. I am not the Pranamaya. I am not the manomaya, mind and emotions. I am not the vijnanamaya, the ego and the intellect. And if you deny all of that, you try it yourself. You'll just be blank. You'll say, what am I then? Just blank. But that blank is also experienced. Now we are in very subtle realms. That blank is also a matter of experience. The blankness of deep sleep. The blankness of a coma, anesthesia. That's also, Vedanta says startlingly, that's also an experience. It's part of the field. The presence of the field and the absence of the field. What's the absence of the field? Blankness. What's the presence of the field? Body, mind and everything. Both are field. And you are the witness of the field. You are the knower of the field. I am the sakshi, the witness. The consciousness. Why am I saying consciousness? Because clearly I am aware. That I exist and I am aware. I am and I shine. That I am the witness of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Anandamaya is the blankness. This is called Panchakosha Vichara. All of it is packed into just a word of Sri Krishna's. Veti, knows. How simply he said it. And now he has shown us we are the witness consciousness. Not body, not mind, not prana, not even the intellect, not even the ego. All of them are there. But they are all part of the field. You are the witness of the field. And therefore the aging, the disease, the problems of the physical body, of the pranamaya kosh, they are not yours. They are in the field. The unhappiness, the emotions, the anxiety, the guilt, the struggle in the mind, manomaya kosha, that's in the mind. It's not in you. You are the witness of that. The ignorance, the delusions, the conflicts in the intellect, the dance of the ego, that's also not you. That's in the field. You are the witness of that. You are free of all of these. Think about it. Old age, disease, death, body, field. Not the knower of the field. It opens the possibility. So body is born, body dies. Then birth and death belong to the body, not to me. If birth and death do not belong to me, then am I immortal? The question will arise. Ajara, Amara, beyond decay and old age, beyond death. One of our monks, he had this question. How many births? We Hindus and Buddhists and Jains and Sikhs, all the Indian religions, we believe in multiple lifetimes. But there are religions who believe in one life. You're born, you die, and then there is eternal life or heaven or hell or something. But not many lives, one life. So how many lives are actually there? Do we have only this one life which we experience, or have we had past lives? Will we have future lives? So this monk, he himself told me the story. He argued with all of the other monks. This was in Uttarkashi in the Himalayas. Then one day he went to an ashram outside our ashram where a great non-dualist Vedanta teacher was there and asked him the same question. I'll tell you in Hindi. It's more funny in Hindi. Bahu janma ya ek, punarjanma ya ek janma. Rebirth or only one birth? He asked. And that monk replied, Arey Mahatma ji, jab janma hi nahi to punarjanma kahe ka, aap mandukya padhiye. Oh monk, when there is not even one birth, where is the question of rebirth? Go and read Mandukya, Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. So you, the consciousness, have never really been born. You are the witness of the birth and aging and death of the body, or many bodies, or one body. But in any case, you are not born, you don't die. These are startling, revolutionary conclusions. But this is just the beginning of Vedanta. Remember, separation is the beginning of Vedanta. Ultimately, divine unity. Now Krishna comes to the second verse. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata iti kshetra kshetragyayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. It says, Krishna says, in all these fields, know me alone to be the knower of the field. And this knowledge of the field and the field knower is called real knowledge. I consider this to be real knowledge. And what has he said here? A tremendous assertion. See, when we talk about, I am the knower of the field, I am the witness consciousness, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. questions remain in our mind or should arise in our mind. One is, so this is the field, right? Mind is also the field, right? And I am the one witness consciousness of this field, immortal, unborn, and so on, right? But then there are so many fields, right? And in each of these fields, is there a knower of the field? A unique, different, distinct, discrete knower of the field? Are there, how many knowers of the field are there? How many consciousnesses? How many divinities? That's one question. So many or one? And the second question will be, what about God? We have talked about field and field knower. Where is God? Is God the knower of the field or is God the field? If God is in the field, then God becomes an object. If God is the knower of the field, then I become God. Both of them seem very strange. Krishna answers both of these questions in half a verse. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. O Bharata, O Arjuna. In all these fields, know that there is one consciousness, not many. And that one consciousness is I, whom you regard as God. The idea of God in Vedanta is this one consciousness in all beings. Vivekananda said, I regard that as God I worship. The only God I worship is that which people in ignorance call man. This one consciousness in all beings is what is called God in Vedanta. Krishna says, I am that one consciousness in all beings. So this is the dramatic conclusion. And it brings about this divine unity. See, this is a subject of great debate, tremendous debate. There are, as you know, multiple schools of Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta says, Tattvamasi, you are that, Aham Brahmasmi. But Dvaita Vedanta will say, the dualistic school of Vedanta will say, no. God and the human, divine and the human are separate. Dualistic religions always hold them to be separate. It's sacrilegious, it's blasphemous to claim that I am one with God. So, there are great debates and ancient debates. These debates go back 1,000+ years. A recent debate I heard about, one in a book written by one Advaita master who passed away recently, Kashikanandaji Maharaj. He used to live in Mumbai. He's from Kerala originally. He was challenged, or there was a challenge from a dualistic master. The debate, which is true, non-dualism, Advaita or Dvaita. And the debate was held in Bangalore recently. And that means, recently means in the 20th century, in the maybe 80s or something, 70s or 80s. So traditional debate, dualist master, non-dualist master. And the group, the supporters were sitting on two sides of the aisle. The debate started. The first session went off well enough. Those debates are very formal affairs in Sanskrit. Each person puts their views forth. And the other person tries to cut down those views and establish his own views and so on. But in the second session, what happened was, the two groups of followers sitting in the two sides of the aisle, they started throwing chairs at each other, started fighting with each other. So the debate spilled over into the audience and the whole thing dissolved into a mess. And finally, this person who's written the book, the non-dualist master, he said, later I asked the organizers who won the debate and they didn't answer. So I took it that I have won it. And he wrote a big book about it, how he won the debate. But what was the debate about? Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. O Arjuna, know me to be the one knower of the field in all these fields. What Krishna is saying there is a central truth of Advaita Vedanta. This consciousness that you arrive at, I am not the body, not the mind, all limitations and differences are in the body and the mind. Consciousness is not separate in each body and mind. Intuitively, we feel we are all separate. So therefore, we feel if I am consciousness, I must be a separate consciousness. And this is a view. This is the view of Sankhya, which is a frankly dualistic school. So, Sankhya, I am pure consciousness, but you are also pure consciousness, and we are different pure consciousnesses. The technical word used there is Purusha. There are many, Bahupurushavada, many consciousnesses. And the world, the universe, body, up to the mind, buddhi, all of it belongs to nature. The technical word used in Sankhya is Prakriti. So ultimately in Sankhya, the worldview, there are two ultimate realities, you and the universe. I and the universe. You are separate from the universe, I am separate from the universe, but important, I and you are also separate. Vedanta says no, this is a fatal error. Vedanta says we are all ultimately one divine unity. How do you know that? Why would you even say that? So Vedanta turns this question around and asks, so there's a long debate, but I'll give you a sample of it. Vedanta says, why do you think we are separate? Bodies are separate, we agree. Minds are separate, we agree. As persons, we are separate, we agree. It's obvious. But apart from the body and mind, pure consciousness itself is separate. But we will say that, no, Sankhya gives arguments. Sankhya says, but if we are all one, the birth of one would be the birth of everybody and the death of one would be the death of everybody. That doesn't happen. Vedanta says the answer is very simple. Birth and death are not of consciousness. Birth and death are of the body. So the birth of one body and the death of another body could leave consciousness untouched. Why do you say consciousness is born or dying with? Then the Sankhyans will say, no, you see, even if you're one consciousness, how do you explain? Somebody's awake, somebody's sleeping, one falls asleep, everyone should fall asleep. One wakes up, everyone should wake up if you're all one consciousness. And the answer is very simple. Vedanta will say, but waking and dreaming and sleeping, these are functions of the mind, not of consciousness. One mind could be awake, another could be daydreaming, another could be sound asleep, and the same consciousness could be illumining the awake mind here, the dreaming mind there, the asleep mind there. Why does the consciousness have to be different? Then the Sankhyan will say, no, that won't work. Suppose we are all one consciousness. Then the enlightenment of one would be the enlightenment of all. My guru, the master, has spiritual knowledge, then I should also have the same spiritual, because we are one consciousness. Again, not true. Because all knowledge is in the mind. The individual minds have different knowledge. Doesn't mean that the consciousness itself has to have all the knowledge of all the minds. In each mind, it illumines the knowledge there. So in this way, the argument goes on. And the Sankhyans are pushed into a position where they can't defend that multiple consciousnesses are possible. Let's look at it in our own experience. Bodies are different, we can see, no doubt. Our minds are also different, thoughts, ideas, memories. But when we fall asleep, in deep sleep, we are not aware of the world, we are not aware of our bodies, we are not aware of the mind also, just blank. The deep sleep experience of everybody is exactly the same. Our waking experiences are different, our dreams are all different. But our deep sleep is exactly the same. How much more same would be the witness of that deep sleep? Witness consciousness, you, the knower of the field. Even deep sleep is in the field. You are the knower of the field. At the level of deep sleep, it all becomes one. Then you, the knower of the field, must be one. It's a subtle argument. Think about it. It's only when the mind starts working, only when we become aware of the body, and through the body, the world, difference becomes clear. When we shut it down, a uniform blankness, then the witness of that uniform blankness, why would you infer that there's a difference in the witness of that uniform blankness? Everywhere it's the same witness of the uniform blankness. Anyway, so there are many arguments. It will take one lecture at least, or a whole course in Indian philosophy to prove that it is one consciousness in all beings. And it is this one consciousness in all beings, with the power of Maya, which projects what is called the universe. So the whole universe is nothing but that one consciousness acting through Maya. Now what is being said here is, I will move quickly, but we can justify it also. Even what we had separated ourselves from, field and knower of the field, now Krishna is saying, I, the one knower of the field. But what is the field? The field is nothing but my creation through Maya. I alone have been projected as the field. What is this material universe? At first we said it is the field. Body is the field. Universe is the field. Mind and senses are the field. I am the knower of the field. Now Krishna is saying, this universe, this field, let us ask the question, what's the relationship between field and field knower? Are they different? Are they connected? Or are they one? He's asking the question, what's the relationship between consciousness and object? Field and field knower, consciousness and object, Prakriti and Purusha, what's the relationship? And different answers are possible. Let me run through quickly 4 or 5 answers. This is in 2-3 sentences, whole of Indian philosophy of consciousness. One theory, one approach is, objects, matter has emerged from consciousness. Who says this? All those who believe in religion. God is the creator. We have God, we worship God in the temple. What's the definition of God? Creator of the universe. That's a theological way of saying the material universe has been created by consciousness. See, material universe has been created by God. Why are you calling it consciousness? Well, is your God conscious or unconscious? You'll say, of course, conscious. Yeah. Intelligent or unintelligent? Of course, intelligent. In that case, consciousness is the source of matter. That's one theory. That's the religious theory, theistic. Second, the opposite, materialistic, atheistic, which is the dominant theory today in science. That consciousness is a product of matter. Material universe, time, space, matter, energy is real. And somehow it evolves into living beings like us. And in these living beings, highly organized nervous systems and brains evolve. And somehow those brains, which are matter, they produce consciousness. So consciousness is an epiphenomenon, byproduct of matter. Now both these problems have serious issues. The religious, both these theories, the religious theory has issues because people may not believe in it. Material universe has been produced by God. What proof is there? Your religious books say it, okay, but there's no scientific proof. Where is that God, if you ask? So the problem of atheism will come in that first, the skepticism in the first theory, that matter is produced by consciousness, universe is produced by consciousness. Problem, atheism, skepticism, agnosticism. You will have to answer to Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Daniel Dennett has passed away, Christopher Hitchens has passed away, but the atheists will challenge you. Prove that the God exists. How do you know? The opposite theory, that consciousness has emerged from matter, consciousness emerges from the brain, that seems to be more acceptable, but it has run into a huge problem that's called the hard problem of consciousness. How can a physical thing, an object, a field in Krishna's language, generate the knower of the field, a subject? If you Google it, hot subject, hot topic on the internet now, in consciousness studies. How do you solve the hard problem of consciousness? That's the objection to consciousness being generated by matter. 2 theories. Consciousness generates matter, problem, atheism. Matter generates consciousness, problem, hard problem of consciousness. Another theory. Again, these are there in Indian philosophy. Third theory, parallel. No one generates the other. Consciousness and matter exist, they exist parallelly. Who says that? Sankhya, Patanjali Yoga, Prakriti Purusha, they exist parallelly. Consciousness did not generate material universe. Material universe did not generate consciousness. And this is a very ancient theory. And it's pretty intuitive because that's how we experience the world. I am the subject, this is all object. I am the knower of the field, this is the field. And so let these be parallel existences. And there is a modern counterpart, David Chalmers himself, who coined the term hard problem of consciousness. He favors a theory of consciousness called panpsychism, which says consciousness cannot be reduced to matter. Just a few days back, there was a conversation between Sam Harris and Anaka Harris. By the way, Anaka Harris is his wife. And she has released a audio documentary on consciousness. She's interviewed neuroscientists and so on and so forth. And there was this discussion. Somebody wrote to me, Swami, listening to those discussions, it felt like listening to excerpts from Vedanta talks. What they are circling around is this idea that consciousness is fundamental. You can't derive it from something else. The consciousness may go very deep. It's a fundamental part of the universe. There's a material part and there's a consciousness part. And this is a very ancient idea, Sankhya. Swami Vivekananda calls the founder of Sankhya, Kapila, the first philosopher of the human race. Very ancient idea. But what's the problem with this theory? What's the problem? The problem is interaction. If consciousness and matter are distinct entities, consciousness is not material, matter is not consciousness, they're two distinct entities. How do they interact? They are interacting right now. You're embodied. You are the knower of the field in the field. But how are they interacting if they're entirely different? If God made the world, consciousness made the world, all right, so we can understand. There's a underlying oneness. If matter made consciousness, we can understand, because even consciousness is a product of matter, so it can interact with matter. But if they're two fundamentally different entities, how will they interact? And Descartes also had the same problem, mind-body interactionism in the philosophy of mind, more than 300 years ago. So this is a deeper problem that consciousness and matter, how do they interact? And there is no answer. The answer Shankaracharya comes up with, the answer he gives is adhyasa, superimposition. He says neither consciousness creates the universe, nor universe or matter creates consciousness, nor are they parallel realities. Rather, matter is an appearance in consciousness, is a superimposition on consciousness. It is consciousness alone appearing to itself as matter. Let me repeat that. The theory of superimposition says, what is the relationship between consciousness and matter? Shankaracharya says they are one. Field and field knower are not ultimately different. Prakriti and Purusha are not ultimately different. Subject and object are not ultimately different. They are one. But why does it appear different? Because one is appearing to itself as different from it. Consciousness is appearing to itself as different from itself. Consciousness is appearing as its own object. The knower, consciousness is appearing as its own object and appearing as field and field knower. Vivekananda in one of his poems writes, one only exists, it appears as nature and soul, subject and object. We are projecting our own universe and then working as the knowers, as the individuals in this universe. We are that one universal consciousness, that one underlying consciousness, which is projecting a universe, projecting thousands of knowers of the field and working through all these knowers of the field. But you are that one underlying divine consciousness in which field and field knower are both appearing. So this is Krishna's ultimate solution. And this is Shankara's, Vedanta's ultimate solution also. How does it solve the interaction problem? Because they are not two. Consciousness is not interacting with something different called object. Consciousness is interacting with itself. Because it is also consciousness. Let me give you a subtle but powerful hint. This is something I'm borrowing from. There was this gentleman, a spiritual master in Kerala in the 1940s, 50s, Atmananda, Krishna Menon. His name was Krishna Menon. So, very elegant. He sort of narrowed down, minimized Advaita into the basic, bare basics, bare bones. He dodged Advaita, to put it that way. So he cut it down to absolutely minimalistic expression. What did he say? He said, look at what's happening when we experience the world. When I'm experiencing the bottle, I'm seeing the bottle. What's happening here? Light from it's not that the bottle is coming to my eyes. I would be in trouble. You have to call 911 if the bottle entered my eyes. No. By the time it comes to my eyes, it is only light. Light is entering my eyes. The eyes which see the whole world, they are not designed to receive the whole world. They are designed only to receive light. So from the entire world which I see, people and tables and chairs and microphones, they don't enter my eyes. When I'm seeing all of them, light from them is reflected and enters my eyes. By the time the world comes to my eyes, when I'm seeing the world, by the time the world comes to my eyes, it's only light which comes to my eyes. And within a split second, doctors will tell you, it becomes an image in the lens of the eye. And within even tinier fraction of a second, no longer even light, no longer an image, it's bursts of electricity running along there. We read in the school, dendrites and axons and the optical nerves running to the brain centers. And within a fraction of a second, what happens next, nobody knows. Somehow all of this is converted into the experience of seeing, visual experience. How? Nobody knows. No idea. At the end of the brain center activity, neuronal activity there, that's where all scientific knowledge stops. Next moment, I see this colorful world. But Vedanta takes over. Vedanta says, so by the time it comes to the eyes, it's light. By the time this information is presented in the brain, it's electrical activity. And the brain next presents it to the mind. At the level of the mind, chitta vritti, it is mental, it's a vritti in the mind. And then finally it's a conscious experience, I see. By the time it comes to consciousness, it is consciousness only. Let me repeat that. Physical object, bottle, stage 1. Stage 2 comes to the sense organ, only light. Comes to the brain, only electrical activity. No bottle, no light. Only electrical activity. Comes to the mind, mental, a wave in the mind, chitta vritti. Wave, you will say bottle akara vritti. A mental modification in the form of the bottle, about the bottle. That is called intentionality in the philosophy of mind. And finally, when it comes to first person subjective experience, I see the bottle. It's a conscious experience. By the time it's only consciousness. So the whole world finally, which is experienced, as experienced, is nothing but consciousness. According to, all the appearing to be different, appearing to be field and field knower. So, Krishna says, this is knowledge, real knowledge according to me. And the commentators, all of them point out, this is the meaning of Tattvamasi, you are that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. So first, start with differentiating. Yeah. Not the body, not the mind. I am the witness consciousness, I am the knower of the field. I am not Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. I am Sakshi, witness consciousness. Then see that the witness consciousness has to be one in all beings. And this one witness consciousness in all beings is Ishvara, Saguna Brahman, Bhagavan. Krishna says, I am that. And the whole universe is a projection of Bhagavan through Maya. Or in modern, more philosophical terms, it is superimposition, adhyas, according to Shankaracharya. According to Krishna Menon, he will say it is consciousness appearing to itself. So it is one limitless consciousness. Which one? This one. This is the beauty of Advaita Vedanta. It's not the dualistic religion which says to see God you have to go to heaven. That's one way of looking at it. Or the yogic religion which says you have to sit in meditation and do long years of meditative practice. In your meditation you will experience something extraordinary, and that is spirituality. No. Once you go through the analysis in Advaita Vedanta, you are left with what? This, according to Advaita Vedanta, is one limitless consciousness. That which seemed to be waves, the play of waves, that which seemed to be ocean, is revealed to be water only. For that, the waves of the ocean don't have to calm down. It's water, even when the waves are there. That which was shown as a whole gallery of ornaments in, Tiffany or somewhere like that, is now revealed to be only forms of gold only. There's only gold and only gold there. That was seen as all kinds of pottery. What is the shop? Pottery barn. So all kinds of pottery is revealed to be clay and clay only. That which is the universe, the field, and the knower of the field is revealed to be one Satchidananda, one existence consciousness bliss. And you are that. This is the divine unity which is established by Sri Krishna in 2 verses. 13th. Of course, Adi Shankaracharya writes the longest commentary, the whole Bhagavad Gita. No other verse he has written. I was counting in the Gita Press book, 12 pages, big book, 12 pages I was counting. Commentary on this one verse. Kshetragyam chapi mam. Know me to be the one consciousness in all beings. Every possible attack, refutation, he has taken up and refuted that, counter-refuted. So many wonderful discussions, subtle discussions have gone on there. This is the pinnacle of Vedantic thought, this oneness of all existence. And Sri Ramakrishna would say, this thing, yes, this thing, he says, start with this. He would say in Bengali, Advaita Gyan Achole Vede Jaichatai Karo. Tie the knowledge of Advaita, Keeping the knowledge of Advaita in the pocket, that's how it's been translated in English. That's a good translation. Keeping the knowledge of Advaita, this non-duality in your pocket, then do whatever you want in this world. You will not come to any harm. You will be free. You will be a Jivan Mukta. Of course, the original Bengali is more quaint. Achole bedhe means, the Bengali women you'll see, or Indian women, they wear saris. And old days, what they would do is the keys of the house, they would tie to the hem of their cloth and keep it there. So they didn't have pockets. They would tie it to the hem of the cloth. That's what Sri Ramakrishna was saying. Tie the knowledge, all that we said now. He says, begin your spiritual life there. Tie it to the hem of your cloth. After that, if you are a meditator, dhyani, if you are a devotee of God, bhakta, if you are a great, you serve God in all humanity, karma yogi, or a jnani, whatever you are, it's all fine. Because it's all one limitless consciousness. Whichever manifestation you hold on, the way you live your life, live freely, live happily. Yesterday at Duke University, I quoted Ingersoll, who was a great agnostic in late 19th century America, very famous speaker. He met Vivekananda and he said, I don't believe in all this religion, spirituality. I believe this world is all that we know. And therefore, I believe in squeezing the orange of this world. This is all that we know. Vivekananda said, I too believe the same thing, except I know a better way of squeezing the orange. How? He says, I know that I cannot die, therefore I am not in a hurry. I know that there is no fear, therefore I enjoy the squeezing. I love all beings as God. Imagine the joy of seeing God in all beings, in all human beings, and loving them. It says, squeeze your orange in this way and get 10,000-fold more. Get every single drop. Where did this come from? This knowledge of one limitless consciousness, which you are. By the way, what was the mistake made by Ingersoll when he says, this world is all that we are sure of? But Krishna would say, but if you know this world and you're sure of this world, that's the field. You're leaving yourself out, the knower of the field. Look at yourself. What are you? Are you part of the world? Are you part of the field? What are you? When you investigate yourself, you will, right here, it will take you straight to God. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Swami Vivekananda. May their blessings be always upon us, their protection. I pray to the Lord, the one God of all religions, who is worshipped there in the temple, in all temples and churches and mosques. I pray to that divinity who is real. One little girl yesterday at Duke University, she came up, her father said, she has a question, please, one minute. The little girl said, is God real? And I said, absolutely real. I pray to that real God who exists, who blesses, who protects, to bless all of us, to shower God's, His, her, its protection on us, and maybe reach that enlightenment in this very life. This is our prayer. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat, Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you so much. I've actually gone over time.
We'll have a Q&A, so if you can line up in the center here, and please do not share your personal experiences and try to be very focused. One question per person. Thank you.
All right, the person who's come there at the back of the line, that's it, no more. Yes, please come.
I think
because we will not have time to, please, exactly, the people who have come, that much, because we won't have time to deal with all the questions. Yes, please tell us your name and ask a question.
Hi, my name is Kaushik Sen. I'm a physician. Swamiji, it was a wonderful talk. I always enjoy your talks, and I think you are one of the best orators of our time. But I'll have to tell you something that I discovered. Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, when you are talking about that word, you mentioned Buddhism. But Buddhism actually takes this world to be very, very real and doesn't talk about God, doesn't talk about divinity. It only talks about how to, modify your life to get to a good life. But it also takes the theory of transmigration of soul from Vedanta, not from Shankar, but from Vedanta. Now, my question to you is this. It's at the end, Sri Krishna says, Mang Namaskuru, Manmana Bhava. The same way the whole Ramakrishna movement accepts him as an avatara and bow down to him. That point, it becomes dual. So that duality I have struggled to understand.
Yes.
And one more thing.
Yes.
First shloka Vishopanishad, you mentioned. There is the second line says, Tena tatyana bhanjita
Yes.
ma gridha kasyadhanam. Now the word Tena tatyana bhanjita is a lot of times explained as you enjoy as you give. But is it that if you take something, something goes out of you? If you take something, you lose something. Like we took this world, this country, and we lost our country. Now, in your opinion, what Tena Taktena Bhanjita really means?
So there are a lot of very profound questions. Three questions really. One is the status of the world in Buddhism. Second is, so why is there so much dualistic worship if our fundamental philosophy is non-duality? In the Ramakrishna mission also, and many, most Hindu organizations you will find, there's plenty of dualistic worship. In the temple here itself will go frankly dualistic. Then third question is, in the Isha Upanishad, the second line of the first mantra says, Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitaha Ma Gridhakasya Svidhanam. What is the meaning of that Tena Tyaktena, that exact significance? So all of these can constitute one full lecture or more than one lecture. But I just give you, since you are, many of us have been studying, you have definitely been studying, so you will catch immediately. Buddhism, does it consider the world to be real? I have to give a nuanced answer. I said Vedanta has taken the idea of falsity of the world from Buddhism. This is a very general sweeping statement. But in Buddhism, let's take the four major schools. Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Yogachara, Vijnanavada and Madhyamaka Shunyavada. Among them, the first two consider the world to be real. The second two consider the world to be false. The first two, which form the basis of the Theravada or the Hinayana school, they consider the world to be a flux, a continuous movement of matter and energy and thought and all of that. So, kshanikam, momentary and a series of flashes. Then the Yogachara Vijnanavada school considers the world to be false. It's an idealistic school which says only mind is real. Whatever appears in the mind is nothing other than mind. So there is no external world there. That's a Mahayana school. And the Shunyavada school from Nagarjuna onwards, they consider the nature of the world as Shunyam, as Swabhava Shunyam. It's empty. Now, the second question, dualistic worship is included within Advaita. You will notice, not only us or here or in the temple, if you go to the Shankar Mat, in Sringeri, in Puri, if you see the non-dualistic monks, they have no hesitation in going to a temple and worshipping. After all, if I can walk and talk and eat, if I can drive and hold a job, what is the harm in bowing down to God? All of the activities that we do in the field as the knower of the field, all activities are dualistic. The moment you have field and knower of the field, it has emerged. But what Advaita Vedanta is saying, it is a superimposition. It's an appearance. The truth is non-duality. The appearance is duality. See, non-duality and duality are contradictory. Both cannot be true. But real non-duality is compatible with an appearance of duality. Yes, a real movie screen is compatible, which is only one and uniform, is compatible with 100 different movies you can play on it. But all the time it is one movie screen. So that's the answer. Non-duality can accommodate duality at the level of appearance. That's the classical Advaita answer to it. Then there are many subtleties. Aurobindo had his own views, Vivekananda had his own views. Coming to Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita, I refer you to Swami Vivekananda's interpretation of this. He says, this knowledge, this realization, it's all one divine unity. This is the renunciation with which you can engage the world. Tena Tyaktena, by that renunciation, enjoy the world or experience the world. Shankaracharya's explanation is different. Protect this knowledge of Advaita by renunciation, which leads directly to monasticism. Give up dualistic engagement. You realize yourself as Aham Brahmasmi. Remain actually as a monk. That is one interpretation, Adi Shankaracharya. Vivekananda differs. He says it's not meant for monks only. It is for everybody. And that realization, Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat, there is one divinity in this entire world of diversity. That knowledge, that realization, that is the renunciation. Not actually physically giving this one away, giving that one. In the world, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you see the divinity in all beings, seeing God in everybody. Vivekananda, I am quoting him. But does it mean that you will give up your wife and children and run away into the forest? No. It means you see God in the husband, you see God in the wife, you see God in the children, you see God in the people we are with. The same divinity everywhere, with eyes open and eyes closed. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, in Bengali, chok bando korle tini achen, chok khulle tini nei, kemon ishwar. By closing my eyes, God, I can find God within. And opening my eyes, God is not there, this is world. What kind of God is that? Just by closing the eyes, it will disappear. So this is the answer. Yes, please come.
Just one thing, sorry, just before you ask the question, we are going to serve dinner, but once question and answer session is done, we'll serve dinner after that. Thank you.
Yes.
Pranam Swamiji. I am blessed to see you here today and hear you.
Tell us your name.
My name is Ramachandra Rao. My question is about, and I'm in the presence in a temple, but I'm asking this. In Hinduism, we have many gods and we perform idol worship. And in Advaita Vedanta, we heard you say that's only one God. It's all pervasive and all that stuff. But in other religions, there's only one God, right? They don't do idol worship. And also we pray to stones and animals and trees and things like that. So how do I answer this clearly if somebody asks this?
Yes.
And especially young people.
Yes.
So how please give me a clarity on that.
Yes. So in Hinduism, as you heard till now, there is one divinity which is all pervasive. There's one divinity which is all pervasive, one non-dual. In fact, there is nothing else except that divinity, nothing else except Brahman. Swami Vivekananda said, we Hindus worship a transcendent, immanent God. A God who is beyond time, space and creation, beyond everything. But also a God who is in and through everything. It is the same God, the same existence, consciousness, bliss, which is appearing as everything. Didn't we just say the whole universe is an appearance in consciousness? So whatever appears in consciousness is pervaded through and through by that one consciousness. This, the whole here, everywhere, that same divinity, we would expect it to be right there. Because there should be nothing else except that one divinity. Now this insight from the Upanishads, the Hindus have taken and transformed into a wonderful technology of worshipping God, which is by invoking the divine presence. You can invoke it in images. What is the harm? Is there, in fact, I said once, worshipping God in an image is not just to say that the image is a symbol of God. We often try to explain it this way. There is God who is separate, but this image is a symbol through which we can't see God. We are using the image as a symbol. That may be fine, but that's not the final answer. It is to correct the wrong idea that that image is not God. If there is one divinity everywhere, only one divinity, and you say, accept that image. Why? Vivekananda said, if image worship produced one like Ramakrishna, worship 1,000 images, I say. So this hesitation that Hindus have about image worship comes from a long history of persecution by Muslims and Christian missionaries and so on and so forth. So it went into the educated Hindu mind. It's something lower to worship images. Without images, so God can't be worshipped in images. Nonsense. Nonsense. You cannot understand Advaita Vedanta unless you understand. If you understand Advaita Vedanta, then you understand the secret of image worship also. Why it is can be worshipped. Why Sri Ramakrishna attaining Nirvikalpa Samadhi would again go back to the temple of Mahakali and bow down there. Because he experienced the same divinity everywhere. In fact, if I say my divinity is one and supreme, except not in the image, then your divinity is not even a divinity. It's limited. There is something that your divinity is not. Yes. That's why I say in Hinduism, there is any question you ask, the answer is yes and no. Do Hindus worship, do they believe in God? Yes and no. Sankhya's never talk about God. Yeah. In Hinduism, is God without form? Yes and no. Go to the temple, you'll see God with form galore. One form, yes and no. Many forms also. Is God male? Yes and no. God is male, God is female, God is a human form, without human form, elemental form, sky and fire. That's why Hinduism, we use the word Purnam. If you say God is formless and not with form, your idea of God is not Purnam. It's not complete, it's incomplete. What you're saying is not wrong, but it's incomplete. If you say God is only male, cannot be female, your idea of God is not Purnam, it is incomplete. If you say God can be worshipped only in a symbol, not in the, say, image of human or a non-human animal also even, then I'll say your idea of God is incomplete. It's not Purnam. Hinduism has a Purnam conception of God, a complete, all-encompassing. If you don't like it in this way, there is that way. If you don't like that way, there is that way. 1,000 different doors are open to you. Swami Ashokanandaji, who was in the Vedanta Society in Northern California in 1950s, 60s, he would say, where will you see God? Foolish question. Where will you not see God? To the enlightened one with eyes closed and eyes open, the same divinity. In the image, in the human being, Vivekananda said the greatest temple of God is the human spirit in the human body. So in the human being, in the world appearance, yes, in the mountain, in Arunachala, in holy river, in Ganga, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Pratyaksha Brahma, visible Brahman on this earth, three things. He would say that dust, very dust of Vrindavan, where the gopis and Krishna played Ras Leela. The prasad of Jagannath and the water of Ganga. He would say Pratyaksha Brahma, visible Brahman. And this is not against Advaita. This is the thing. Once you begin to understand Advaita, you begin to see it is the bedrock of whole of Hinduism. It supports, it gives a philosophical justification and grounding to these practices in Hinduism. So it does not require explanation. It requires explanation. What kind of God are you talking about which is other than this thing? So your God is infinite minus bottle. Why? What kind of God are you thinking about? That cannot be God. Anything that is not infinite cannot be God. Infinite cannot exclude anything. So, yes.
My name is Manivanan Ravichandran. Actually, I think I got introduced to you through some YouTube. First from IIT Kanpur, 3 minutes distinction between mind and consciousness, and the other one was in 1 hour in Helsinki. I've probably seen a lot of your YouTube stuff. So in any case, I have actually 2 questions, but I'll start with one and probably leave the other one for you to...
You have to speak on the microphone, yes.
Answer in detail in one of your lectures. You have talked about it, but I'm not satisfied with that answer. Anyway, so first question is that if I want to do systematic study of Vedanta, I have basically looked at the introduction to the Gita by various people, and it's very clearly said that essentially don't get confused by reading a lot of stuff, just read the Gita. And of course, there are 770 verses, and each time I have read it at various ages, I have got something different out of it. So my question to you is that basically, instead of looking at so many things, if I just continue systematic study of Gita, is that good enough?
It's good enough. It's good enough.
Okay, so since you have given a brief answer, I'll do my second question.
Yes, if you want one text,
Okay.
one text, Bhagavad Gita is enough. Bhagavad Gita contains the essence of all the Upanishads. Upanishads are the foundational texts of Vedanta.
Okay. I will just leave it with the thought for Swamiji. This is basically the role of free will, and what, whether we have free will or not, as in chapter 334 of Bhagavad Gita, I have not actually heard you address that directly. You said we have free will and we don't have free will. Anyway, I'll wait for your answer.
Just Google Sarvapriyananda free will. You will get an answer.
I request everyone to be very focused in asking your question. There are quite a few people waiting. Just be very focused on your question.
Pranam, Swamiji. My name is Robin Day. I'm from Los Angeles visiting. My question is kind of a personal one, but I think personal for all of us. In the gospel, you kind of get this sense from Ramakrishna, this divine compassion and almost a motherly love that he channels in some of the chapters, And when you were talking about the field today and your mind as part of that, it still is interacting with this ultimate reality, right, that we call God. I'm curious, and this is kind of a personal question, what is your relationship with God? And it's a question for all of us. I think by you even sharing a little bit of that, I think we'll all think about it, because this room is full of people of all different backgrounds, doctors, engineers, etc.
That's an easy one to answer. Mm-hmm. In Vedanta, we regard God at 4 levels. There's a very old saying in Hindi that Rama, there are 4 Ramas. Actually, it's only one, but there are 4 Ramas. What are the 4 Ramas? Ek Ram Dasharath ka beta, Duja Ram Jagat Pasera, Teesra Ram Ghat Ghat mein leta, aur Chautha Ram Sabse Nyara. So the Rama is understood at 4 levels. One is the son of Dasharatha, the person. And you relate to that person as avatar, incarnation of God. You make a temple of Ramchandra and bow down. There are images here in the temple. So you're relating to a personal God. Krishna appears like that in Bhagavad Gita. Many times when he says, I, he means the person Krishna, the son of Vasudeva Krishna. That's one understanding of God. And you can relate. What does God mean to me? God means incarnation of God, the personal God, Ramakrishna. For me, it's Sri Ramakrishna. So I can relate like that to my Lord. Second, Dusra Ram. He says, Jagat Pasera. That is the God of religion, the creator of the world. In every religion, when you talk about God, theistic religion, the definition will be that which has created the world. Upanishads also say this. From which the whole universe has come, in which it exists, into which it disappears finally. So the second Rama is the creator of the universe. How? Rama is an incarnation of Vishnu. So Vishnu is the creator of the universe. That omnipresent, omniscient. What we basically understand by the word God. That's the second relationship. That God exists. Third, Teesra Ram Ghat Ghat mein leta. That third Rama is in every entity of the universe, what we are talking about today, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, pervading this entire universe through and through. Wherever you can find God. You can find it in the image, you can find it in a human being, you can find anywhere, in the sky, in the earth, anywhere. So all-pervading reality, immanent reality. That's also how I relate to God. I know God is present everywhere. Finally, the Advaitic idea. The Chautha Ram Sabse Nyara. The fourth one is the Nirguna Nirakara Brahma. Very beautiful song. If you like, you can hear it. Kumar Gandharva sang, Kabir Das song. Ram Niranjan Nyara Re. Ram Niranjan Nyara Re. Very beautifully his sung. So that is the fourth one. Nirguna Nirakara. Beyond time, space, object, beyond name, beyond form, inconceivable by thought, unspeakable by language. The ultimate reality, Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. That's also Rama. These are the ways in which I relate to God. And this is the classical Advaitin will always relate in these ways, yes.
Namaskar, Swamiji. I'm Anil Pandya. I'm from here, Kerry. The question, when you say that we are like different, our kshetra, and we are the observer of the kshetra, in that sense, when we have a reincarnation of, is it of the body or of the soul, and when we have this.
Let's stop there. Is that the question? Reincarnation? Is that the question?
No. So the question is, so the karma, is it attached to the kshetra or is it attached to the knower of the kshetra? That's my question.
Yes. So karma, whom does karma belong to? What does it affect? The straight answer is, it's part of the kshetra. If it is knowable, if it is experienceable, it will be part of the kshetra, part of the field. It's not you. It's part of the field. Only thing is, we do karma and we experience results of karma when we become entangled with, attached to the field by ignorance, not knowing our real nature. I think I am this person and I do these actions and therefore I will get the results of these actions in this life or the next life. Freedom from this is to realize who I am truly, that I am Brahman. This process of inquiry will lead me to that. Without inquiry, the knower of the field becomes the target of all karmas. The doer of karma, the target of the result of karmas. But straight answer to your question, where is karma? In field knower or knower on the field? It's in the field. It's objective. It's nothing to do with us really. Practically we are caught in it due to our ignorance. Because the bottle is here. If I catch hold of this, then I'm also catching hold of the bottle. So if I catch hold of the field, karma will also affect me. Field knower is not affected by karma in its real nature as pure consciousness. Field knower under the spell of ignorance is very much affected by karma. Yes.
Namaskar, Swamiji. I am Kiran. I have one question. As we kind of look at Drigdrisha Viveka or Avastatraya Viveka or even Panchakosha Viveka that you spoke just now, at the fifth step, when we actually do to whom the blankness appears, how do we make that switch? Is it an effort or is it a grace?
Really speaking, it's a grace, and practically it's an effort. The effort, I'll just give you the hint. It's a very subtle effort. The effort is this. See, all effort will always be in the field. How do I know the Shuddha, the pure knower of the field? It's like this. Never try to grasp yourself as pure consciousness, as Atman or Brahman. You can't. Whatever we grasp is an object. Whatever we grasp is part of the field. It's an object. So if I try to grasp, I am pure consciousness, I'm making that into the part of the field. You can't. Then what can we do? Rather do the opposite. Whatever appears to me, body, mind, thought, idea, all of that keep dismissing. In fact, there are two ways. I am the witness of it all. I'm not trying to be the witness. Whatever comes to me, I'm the witness of it. I am not it. That will, at one moment, suddenly it will flash upon me. Sri Ramakrishna said there's no way of putting it in language. He said, Bodhe bodh kara. Awareness of awareness. Or consciousness self-luminously manifesting. It is self-luminously manifesting all the time. We suddenly, at one point, see it. Say, oh my God, this was always there. Which is called, Vivekananda called it the open secret. So, the key is that don't try to grasp yourself. I am the knower of the field. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. No, I am not this. Notice, Shankaracharya says not this 3 lines. And then 4th line only Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. Every shloka, say Nirvana Shatakam. 3 lines are Neti Neti. Then only Chidananda Rupa Shivoham.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for an enlightening talk, and very fortunate to be here. So the quick question we had, kind of continuation, is what is true surrender mean? Sharanagati. Is it surrendering to your true self? And how can it be accomplished with all the bondage that we have, raga, dvesha, pulling us in all directions?
Yes. True surrender means, A real belief in the existence of God will lead to true surrender. We give.
We are Sajjan, that's true surrender from a Vedantic perspective. From a dualistic, devotional perspective, just relax with God. Hold on to God, sincerely believing that God is taking care of everything, everything is happening by the will of God, and trying to live like that. Very difficult. Our personality kicks in. When things go our way,
God is very gracious. When things don't go our way, oh my God, then it is my will, not God's will. I love that story. I've told other times also. One sadhu I saw in the Himalayas. I heard the story. I didn't see this sadhu. He, among all sadhus, used to go for begging for food. Only this one did not. He lived in a cave, and the villagers respected him so much they would bring the food like this. So some of you can go there and stand, and you'll be served food. But some, maybe the person will come and give you food. So the devotees would come and give food to this sadhu. And he would always sing and dance. Mera yaar khilata hai. I don't go for begging. My friend, yaar is sort of Hindi for buddy. He used to call God mera yaar, my friend. Who feeds you? My friend feeds me. Friend means capital F, God. Now one day they wanted to test how much was his surrender to God. So that day they didn't bring food at the appointed hour. And the villagers, they watched from a distance behind a rock. What happens to the monk? And the monk came out of the cave to see where is the food. No food. He went back. Every 5-10 minutes he would come out and look. No food. In the evening, I hope they gave him food in the end of the day. But evening they went and asked, well, what happened? Didn't your friend feed you today? Yaar nahi khilaya. Didn't your friend feed you today? And the monk danced and he sang, Chalo aaj meri yaar ki chali. Chalo aaj meri yaar ki chali. Today is wonderful, especially wonderful because the will of my friend was done today. What does it mean? Every day I want to eat and my friend does what I want, feeds me. My beloved friend, my God feeds me because I want to eat, I am hungry. Today also I want to eat, I am hungry. But today his will was not my will. His will was I should remain hungry, he will not feed me. I am so happy today his will was done, not my will. Chalo aaj meri yaar ki chali. It's difficult to accept. My love of God must predominate over my desires. Only then they can accept that. Yes.
Namaste, Swamiji. Thank you for always being very enlightening. My question is based on Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism and Advaita. They both derive from Upanishads in some way, and they're both non-dual.
Buddhists would be very angry if you say that. But we believe that. We believe that.
Yes.
We believe that.
They're both non-dual in nature, but while one talks of ultimate consciousness as being the ultimate reality, Buddhism says there is no primordial entity, there is no ultimate consciousness. How does Vedanta justify its way of thinking? And the second part of this is samsara and nirvana. They are, in Buddhist way of thinking, they're both part of the same reality. Is that same for Advaita, or is it?
Yes, yes. Second answer, straight answer to the second one, yes. The Buddhist will say samsara and nirvana are like a magical display on the primordial ground of being. We Advaitins will say 100 marks. We agree fully with you. That primordial ground of being, we only call it Buddha, we call it Brahman. You call it the Dharmakaya or the Tathagata Garbha. So for Advaitins also, once you realize what is Brahman, you will see in ignorance that same Brahman appeared as samsara. In knowledge, enlightenment, that same Brahman appears to you as moksha. So moksha and samsara both are appearances of one Brahman. It's not that Brahman is only there in moksha, not there in samsara. It's there in samsara also. The same reality. And the Buddhists say the same thing also. Now your first question, ultimate reality. Is there an ultimate reality? And Buddhists don't speak about it or deny it also. It's interesting that you should ask that. Please see, I've given 2 talks. Especially one talk I've given. You just look at it. It's called emptiness. 5 levels of understanding of shunyata in Buddhism. Theravada understanding, the mind-only school, the Chittamatra school understanding, the Mahayana, the Madhyamaka school, Swatantrika and Prasangika understanding, and finally what is called the Shentong school. So 5 levels of understanding of emptiness. One is Theravada, the other 4 are
Mahayana, and you will see where it is different from Vedanta and where it comes close. Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji. Nice to see you and fortunate to see you in person. My weak fundamental is asking this question in a way from the 11th chapter of Gita. Arjun insisted to show the real Swarup, and Krishna kind of gives Divya Chakshu or something, and then shows the thousand sun, and so all the character shows up. So what was it? Was it to prove it that I'm in all?
Yes.
That's one, or is it something to do with the Maya? But
Yes.
it still doesn't reflect. It doesn't prove the veiling power. It's just projecting power only. Is that my correct understanding?
Yes.
Can you
Now-
elaborate?
So, what happened in the 11th chapter? Arjuna, in 10th chapter, Krishna talked about the presence of the divine in all beings, Vibhuti Yoga. But Arjuna said, all right, I believe. He says that. I believe whatever you have said. But I want an experience. Because you are saying I am the one reality in this entire universe. But I am seeing you as the charioteer Krishna. Can I experience this cosmic form, Vishwarupa? Can I see this whole universe as one conscious reality? And then you have to be careful what you ask for. Krishna said, all right, you are my friend, very dear to me. It's a very rare thing, but I'll give you the vision. And he gives him the vision. And he has this tremendous vision, the most dramatic part of the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshana. Vishwarupa, the Darshana Yoga is there. So, what happens? What does it mean? It's like seeing the entire universe together in one. We are seeing the universe, but we are seeing it in bits and pieces. Now you're seeing this hall. After a little bit, you will see the world outside the hall. You are seeing time, but in a flow from birth, babyhood, childhood, teenage, middle age. You're seeing time. We are all seeing time in a flow. But suppose it is somehow possible to see everything, everybody, everywhere, everywhen, all at once in one being. What a stunning experience would that be? I often compare it to, Arjuna was terrified actually. He got what he wanted, but what was the result? It scared him out of his wits. He was terrified, he was scared. He said, stop this, go back to your human form. I don't want this. He says every hair on his body stood on the end. I'll give an example. I do a lot of public speaking. Public speaking is scary. We've all had that experience. When you stand up before an audience, it feels scary. Why? As psychologists said, there's a reason. Animals, in the animal world, staring is a sign of aggression. So if you stare continuously, stare at a dog is sitting quietly minding its own business. You go and stare at a dog continuously. The dog will look up at you. Now either it will growl at you or it will quietly slink away. It feels uneasy. If you directly, notice how we talk to each other. The psychologists have studied eye contact. We make eye contact, then we look away. Then we make eye contact and look. Generally, you don't stare. Unless the boss is scolding you, then you'll stare. So, aggression is connected with staring. But what happens is, in public speaking, there are 300 people staring at you. You know they're waiting to listen to you. But your subconscious mind does not know that. Your animal brain doesn't know that. It triggers a fight or flight response. And that's why people immediately feel frozen. Initially. Slowly you get used to public speaking. Now imagine this is what is happening when 300 people are staring at you. The biggest audience I have faced in India once, 14,000 people. Live, sitting there. But that's nothing like what Arjuna experienced. Imagine not 300, not 14,000. Imagine all 8 billion people in this world and whoever lived earlier and afterwards and all the animals and sentient beings all in one being towering before you and then turns and looks at you. How will you feel? That's why it's terrifying. That's what Arjuna saw. The entire universe gathered together in one conscious being. Yes. Tell us your name and ask the question.
My name is Walker Hammond.
Hi.
May I congratulate you on a wonderful lecture and keeping such great company.
Thank you.
I haven't met nicer people in my life than the Vedanta Society here. They're very good people. My question is something about the nature of reality itself in the context of Hinduism. I'm trying to put all these pieces together, and I realize some questions just don't have answers. But if you had any thoughts on the nature of conflict, I suppose. In Hinduism, in Vedanta, we're the witness, we're the knower, and that's enlightenment. But in our bodies, there's conflict. On the microscopic level, little conflicts are happening all the time. And all the doctors in the room know that if a body doesn't have conflict, it develops problems later in life, like allergies. Your immune system needs exercise. Yeah. There's 5 pounds of bacteria in you and on you that aren't even you. You might as well be a planet all by yourself. So in this way, the conflict is harmony. So too it is in nature. All of the plants and animals and everything fighting. And that's harmony. But it's also conflict, bloodshed, horror, war. Like Heraclitus said, war is the father of all things. So, I don't know.
So any thoughts on that? Yes, I'm glad you brought it up. So all this time we have been speaking about one limitless reality, one Brahman, one divine unity. But as the gentleman has pointed out, that's fine. But look at the world. It's not one divine unity. There's continuous conflict. As you pointed out, the best example is our own bodies. Our skin. It is the borderline where tremendous fighting is going on. And if it were not so, we wouldn't be alive. Our body is resisting continuous attacks. Your wars going on in the world are nothing compared to what's going on with every human body every day. So, what about this divine unity, one Brahman everywhere? But we see conflict everywhere. So this is where an important aspect of Vedanta comes in. Once you have manifestation, once you have diversity, manifestation means diversity. Once you have diversity, you will have interaction. Interaction will be of many kinds, including lots and lots of conflict, clashes, in the field itself. Now, what can Vedanta do here? So I'm glad he asked the question. What is the practical consequence of Vedanta in this world? The practical consequence of Vedanta, philosophically it is oneness. Practically, he himself said it, it's harmony. So in the midst of conflict, if you want to practice spirituality, if you want to practice Vedanta, what do? You work for harmony. You don't work for oneness. You can't, in the manifestation, you can't have oneness. You can't have one religion for all. You can't have one size fits all. Sameness is death. Diversity is life. So the underlying divine oneness in this world of chaos and confusion and conflict has to be expressed as harmony. So instead of all religions fighting with each other, or no religion, or one religion, none of which are good. Rather, let all religions prosper. There can be difference. Difference does not mean fighting. Difference can mean harmony. That was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. One of the central teachings which we have in the Vedanta Society, the harmony of religions. Not trying to convert somebody from one religion to another, not trying to destroy religions, not trying to say there should be no religion at all, but rather let there be these religions and many more if necessary. But harmony between religions. Not just harmony between religions. Extend it further. Harmony between science and religion. Harmony between work and rest. Harmony between nations and so on. So that's the answer to, the Vedantic answer to conflict. Clear fact of conflict. I'm glad you raised allergies. A doctor told me today, you see the dust on the table? That's not dust. In North Carolina, everybody knows what it is. In this season, it's pollen. So it's allergies. And that's conflict. And conflict by itself is not, as you pointed out, it's not ultimately unproductive or harmful. Try to actually remove all conflict and you will have maybe disease. You will have other terrible problems, allergies and more of that. So harmony is important. Yeah. In principle. Yes.
Guruji Pranam. Just a quick update. Yesterday you advised me to think of my children as God. I've started calling them Thakur, and it's very satisfying.
Do it internally. As I said, don't externally, they'll take advantage of you.
So my question today is, I've spent about 20 years of my life as an atheist, and I realized that the Bhakti Marg is closed for me. I've studied Mangrukya with you, and I find that very satisfying. But I can't pray. My atheism prevents me from praying. So what marg is open to me?
Love. You don't have to pray. Love. You don't have to pray to God. Love God. So my Mandukya Upanishad, my Vedanta tells me that one divinity, which I am, is also present in all beings. So as this person, how do I relate to other persons? I know I am the ground of the field and knower of the field. But as one knower of the field, in this particular field, how do I relate to myself in all of those other fields? The relationship will be one of love. Yes.
Guruji, namaskara. My name is Hitesh. So we live in an era of artificial intelligence. It's a mathematical abstract model. It has no birth, death, no body, no mind. So it's not bound to karma, liberation, all the other things which are separated from the knower. So how would we define artificial intelligence? Is it the knower? Is it the field? How do we define it with Advaita philosophy?
It's part of the field, and we would say it is not a knower. Advaita Vedanta will say, in fact, this is a clear way of distinguishing consciousness from the field. Here you have one aspect of the field. Today we have these extraordinarily clever machines which mimic human intelligence, human creativity, speech, many activities of the human being which we thought were unique to human beings. But now these machines are doing it, and often doing it better than us. So even Advaita Vedanta, they're doing nice Advaita Vedanta also, this AI. Except one thing, they can't do one thing. What's that one thing? They are not conscious. And don't ask, how do you know? Ask the experts. Those people who are working in this field, those companies which have invested millions and millions of dollars and are investing money to make these machines, these programs, AI. Ask them, what's your budget for consciousness? 0. Are you willing to say, it took us enormous effort, enormous talent and years of work and tremendous amounts of computational power and tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to make this machine artificially creative, artificially intelligent, to write an essay. But without doing anything, it has become automatically conscious? No, you can't say that. So these machines are not conscious. So it's a good, I use AI for this purpose, to do that at initial viveka, kshetra kshetragya, prakriti purusha, consciousness and matter. Therefore, there's one thing. It shows what we thought was I'm intelligent, I'm creative. No, intelligence is part of nature. Creativity is part of nature. Therefore, AI can mimic it. But you, the consciousness, are not part of nature. You are the knower of nature. You are the knower of the field. And therefore, the field cannot mimic you. Therefore, the AI cannot mimic you.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah, quick.
If...
Okay. Everybody is hungry.
Yeah, namaskar Swamiji. My
Yes.
name is Saksham, and I have like a quick question. I don't want to hold anyone back. So my question is like, you were mentioning that like everyone has some consciousness in them, which is like, and it's the same in everyone.
No. All the talk was, the central point was not that everybody has some consciousness in them. The central point was, you are consciousness.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to say. And that is like, that's basically God. So that means that everyone has like, everyone is basically God, like in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense.
But how should we bring like those godly qualities in like our daily life?
That's a very good question. Really good question. Religion, spirituality, according to Vivekananda, is not just realizing that I am pure consciousness or I am Brahman, but also manifesting those qualities in life. Therefore, Vivekananda's wonderful definition of religion or spirituality, it is the manifestation of the divinity already within us. That's his question. Not just knowledge of the divinity within us, actually living it. So if you say that somebody has attained moksha, somebody has become enlightened, we would expect some of the qualities of Vivekananda in that person. We would expect some of the qualities of Buddha in that person. Not just, I know this. What is your life like? Have you solved the problems of your own life? And are you a blessing for others also? Or are you a problem for others? It was a problem before he became spiritual, now he's become spiritual, more problem. Then that's not enlightenment. So yes, so manifestation of the qualities of what we call spiritual qualities. Again and again, for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, these are mentioned. In 13th chapter, which I was just talking about, after these verses, a few verses later, Krishna talks about 20 such manifestations. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, rajyavam. What we call the moral qualities. Basically being a good person. That's why basically enlightenment means it should translate you into you becoming a saint, veritably, practically a saint. The old idea is absolutely correct. So, living that. Now you work it out as homework. If I am not the body, my knowledge shows me I am immortal consciousness. Should I be afraid of death? No. So I'll be free of the fear of death. I should be. If I am afraid of death, then there is a conflict between my knowledge, what I seem to know, and how I act in life. That has to be resolved. So Vivekananda says the manifestation, not just knowledge of the divinity. One should go beyond fear. One should be peaceful, happy. One should be in a sort of an all-encompassive, non-exclusive love for everybody. At least be a well-wisher to the whole world. Because it is your own expansion, this entire world. All these will follow or should follow. If they do not follow, then there is something wrong with that enlightenment. They should follow. Now, why does this follow? Because on the path to enlightenment, as we go through life, we are trying to cultivate these qualities over time. This is the meaning of maturity. Forget spirituality, religion, even psychological maturity means turning from a child into an adult. From a mischief maker, for example, into a cooperative person who is good for society. Over time, we realize that's a wise way of being. An unwise way of being is selfish. A wise way of being is unselfish. An unwise way of being is scared. A wise way of being is being brave. Unwise way of being is dishonest. A wise way of being is ultimately honest. Unwise way of being is selfish. A wise way of being is selfless. So these come slowly, and if we are spiritual, the whole process is accelerated. That's a very good point to end this topic on. If you're really spiritual, these qualities should and must manifest in our lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank